But should surprise you, ladies and gentlemen, I think he mentioned as well that one of the council leaders, Liz Burnett, defended her decision to designate the area as a county of sanctuary. I wonder if she actually asked her voters if they wanted that. She said a motion which recognised illegal migration put pressure on public services was inaccurate, completely out of touch, and obviously completely false, ladies and gentlemen. But here's what Councillor Carroll was referring to, it seems.
I was so disappointed to see this motion today. I actually can't find a single part of it which may even loosely be called accurate. I hope tonight we can reaffirm our support to be a county of sanctuary for all, just as in that scrutiny committee, let Councillor Carroll be a lone voice. The people of the Vale of Glamorgan need to see exactly who would turn their backs on them in their hour of need. So I echo Councillor Johnson's call for a recorded vote. Thank you, Mayor.
It's exactly everything they accuse you of, ladies and gentlemen. But where she says it's important for the people of the Vale of Glamorgan to see who would turn their backs on them. People are so angry because they've seen their politicians turn their backs on them for generations even. For generations, you could say, but certainly the last 5 years in such massive, massive ways. People are angry, people like Liz Burnett, because they've seen that it's exactly people like her that will turn their backs on them, who've turned their backs on the Welsh people. They don't like it that they'll see somebody like George Carroll, and he will have a massive pull, massive appeal, because he's actually willing to stand up to the status quo that people are sick of. But you see that there was one very insidious statement in there, ladies and gentlemen, that shows exactly how far they want to push it. And they don't actually care about people being marginalised when it's not in their interest, when it's in opposition to them, ladies and gentlemen. Let him be a lone voice. They want you alone. They want you scared. They want you isolated. Right? They want you to shut up and be silent and compliant. That's what they want, and they'll prey on that, and they'll mock you for that. They'll mock you for standing up. Right? Because they feel as though they hold all the cards. It's up to us, especially the next election, to show them that that's not true, that no, you still serve us. That you still serve us, and we're not okay with this. But that's exactly how they see you. It's exactly how Mabon, like I said before, when he says Chihuahua Centre Park, he doesn't have an argument. He can't call me a liar because I'm not. All they have are insults and trying to make you feel small. It's exactly the kind of bullying mentality that they all claim to be against, right? Unless it's the native Welsh people showing that this is not what they want their communities to be like. They don't want these initiatives. Then they'll turn their gaze, their bullying gaze right on you. They'll turn their ire towards you, and they'll turn their fury towards you, ladies and gentlemen. And it'll be all of us that suffer for it. These people need to go. People in the Vale of Glamorgan, you need to do, a lot of looking into who your representatives are and what they stand for. Same goes with any county. Same goes with any county. You got a target on your back. And people like Liz Burnett will be more than happy to shoot you in that back or stab you in the back when the time comes. Make you feel as though she's your friend. Right? But the true baby that she's concerned about, she's not concerned about her constituents. Right? She's concerned about her nation of sanctuary globalist baby, because she knows where her bread is buttered. And it's not by you. You want a really stark example of how dangerous this can be, ladies and gentlemen? The Taliban commander's nephew has won an asylum bid to bring his family to the UK. This was reported in GB News recently. This was published 29th of September. A Taliban commander's nephew has been granted refugee status in the UK alongside his 7 family members currently living in Turkey, despite warnings of bringing a burden upon the public purse. This comes, mind you, again, 3 days later on Yom Kippur, a fucking synagogue is attacked. A synagogue is attacked by what seems to be a radical Muslim from the photos that I've seen. The photos that have been released. Yet, our government is allowing Taliban commanders' relatives to come here. There's no words. There's no words. But this is nation of sanctuary in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. It's anybody that's not white, not British, they're inherently oppressed. under the anti-racist intersectional framework that all these globalist organizations are foisting onto us through the education system and all the rest of it, and what our politicians are using. Again, it's communism 101. There's always an oppressor. There's always an oppressed, right? So anybody that's coming from anywhere else in the world, especially if they happen to be of certain religious ideologies and certain ethnic minorities, they're always oppressed no matter what. And as a result, they can do no wrong. As a result, they can do absolutely no wrong. That's where this gets you. It gets you letting Taliban commanders into the UK. It lets you letting a bunch of Afghans in when they didn't even help our soldiers, right? An immigration judge has granted the request despite none of the family speaking English, but it was deemed they had no options and were unable to be returned to Afghanistan. They obviously were, but anyway. It reminds me of when, again, how they said none of the family speak English. There was a grooming gang that went down recently, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure if you saw it. I forget the exact area where they were based now. I want to say it was Telford, but I can't remember if a location was given. Charlie Peters reported it. I believe there were 7 of them. I believe there were 7 of them initially, but 6 of them got convicted. Crimes... Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my dog just sat up on the sofa. Crimes took place about 20 years ago, mind. 3 of them still needed interpreters. 3 of them still need interpreters. It was a picture of the lack of integration that we've seen time and time and time again, but you get called racist if you say it. Why do they need taxpayer-funded interpreters? They've been here. If you've been here for more than 20 years, 20 to 25 years ago, these crimes were committed, right? So obviously they would have come here just before that point, right? Not sure how long they would have been here before they started committing the crimes, right? And they've been here ever since. That is a conscious effort not to assimilate. Because if you go to a country, ladies and gentlemen, you will start picking up the language, you'll start picking up the dialect, you'll start picking up the accent, right? The longer you stay there. It's inevitable. If you don't, that is a conscious effort for you to do so. Either because you've consciously kept yourself in the ethnic minority enclave that you've created, which, by the way, again, one of the things when you put a mass amount of people in, it removes the need to assimilate because they can just set up their own little enclave where they don't need to speak English. They don't need to abide by our laws and our customs, right? They'll set up their own courts and all the rest of it. All of a sudden, we have parallel legal systems within the UK, and religious tolerance is a great British value. 20 to 25 years since these crimes have been committed. That's how long it took for justice to be done, mind you. And not only that, 3 of them needed interpreters at trial. Taxpayer funded. We're a joke. We're a joke. If you enjoyed that clip, then make sure to go on over to the Voice of the Valleys X page at VOT_Valleys on X. We're also on Instagram at Voice of the Valleys. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again soon. Godspeed.